Just to finish up with information about these margins and width and how I centered an object. I couldn't just choose a line, so there is a command called align. Whoops, it'd be better if I was typing in there. Align and center. That would be nice to do, but align isn't a keyword. Notice that all the keywords are in grey and that stays in black. So I can't use the word align, although I've got center. It's just no way that I can choose a line. So we have to use a trick. So I'm going to explain what the trick is, because we've used margin and width. And I explained that pages have margins. So what I'm going to do is draw a border around what I'm doing. So border 1 pixel solid around all of this. Let's keep that in, so that when I refresh my page and click on jab024, we can see what we've done. We've not actually centered anything. What we've done is we've increased the border. So it used to be about this width. Well, you can see it right here between the edge of the page and the blue, and the edge of the page there, and that. That is called the margin, and we've increased it. Okay, so that all we've got for a web page is 10% of the web page. So that's the whole web page, 10%. It's not even in the center of that. Now I've drawn the border around so that you can see the margins. Okay, and if I change the width of those margins, so 20%, that is going to give me 20% of the web page as the width. So if I refresh it and click on the jab024, notice that my web page is now 20% the width of the page. So my margins have automatically increased, and as I keep increasing that number, so let's get that up to 50%, it's going to be half the page is available to me and the rest is going to be margin. There you go, so I've got half the page available to me and the rest is going to be margin. It's just a trick to make it appear like it's in the center of the page. So I'm shrinking the margin down to roughly the width of these items, and that's pushing them into the center of the page. It's not affecting anywhere else in the page, just this one small block which I call div, and that is the trick that I'm using to align the page. So if I set that back to 10%, take off the border so we can't see it, and save it and refresh, click on there, it looks like I've centered this in the page, and I haven't. I've just increased the margins from one side to the other. So that's a little trick that's used. There's lots of tricks that we need to know, because web pages are stunningly difficult to play with, to understand how things are laid out, but we're making big progress. And don't forget, we can always shrink the web page down, and if I do that, this is pretty much always going to stay in the center of the page, because it's always going to use 10% of the available space to show, which is pretty much in the center of the page. So there we have it, how to use tricks, and hopefully we're going to learn quite a few tricks, so that you can do a few more things. One of the things we could do is maybe click on this, make something happen, put more items in. There's lots of things we can do. You should play around, you should try things out, experiment.